Item 6, we need to discuss that, and then we'll move the rest of the items to the agenda in 2 weeks.
Thank you, Mayor, Manager, Commissioners. This is a update on the alternate water supply system for the city of Enid. I'm glad to present this here to get an update on this. What I want to present first is a chart I think you've seen many times, but I want to go over it. It's very important to realize why the project is important to the city of Enid underway. This is a chart that shows first this lower red line here shows the well field and the projected sustainable water supply from our well field across here, which is about 7.3 million gallons a day, to give you a feel for that. The blue line is water consumption records that we have up to here, and then what we have is projection from the water management plan, projection for water use up to the year 2050, and we have 3 projections with the and we're between the brown and the purple one right now, somewhere in here. But I want to point out all projections for water use demand exceed the availability of state supply for our well field for offers. There's a couple of options looking at additional water rights to cover that, field source supply, and to look at call reservoir and all. The plan is to look at providing surface supply from call reservoir. I want to show you here a map that locates the city of Enid in the left side, lower left, and call reservoir to the upper right of the map. And notice this is a possible pipeline route. There are several routes where this is not a defined or definite route, or that's yet to be determined. But for your understanding of this project that we'll be undertaking, this is a possible route to acquire water from Call Reservoir and pump that water supply back to the city of Enid to build a new and require a new treatment plant to provide for that system. Where we're at on the status on this project is one of the key issues. Well, there's a couple keys to develop up front. One of them is to acquire water rights or water allocation, which is administered on surface rights through the state of Oklahoma. We have made applications to the Oklahoma Water Resource Board. They have approved that application, and as of January, they approved it for a year-round basis up to about 18 million gallons a day of water supply. Now, they've approved the application, and they mean the application set out. However, we have about 7 years to actually show that we have the infrastructure, the need, and can make use of that water supply. So that's not good forever. You have to go and actually substantiate your need. We have about 7 years to accomplish that. To accomplish that task, basically what we're going to call developing preliminary design, which is look at the preliminary work that required to address the environmental issues, to address the pumping issues, address the water quality issues, and prepare analysis and a plan that would be acceptable to particularly the U.S. Corps of Engineers for the use of that water is the next phase underway. And we have received 6 proposals from engineering firms to provide that service. And this we anticipate from the beginning program to the end is 5 to 7 years to develop a plan to acquire not only water rights, but the storage rights that is required from the Corps, and to develop processes to determine design plans to acquire the right-of-way to make those improvements. And it's very important as phase 1 that we acquire a firm that has the expertise and the abilities, has experience in these areas that best fit our needs. That's kind of addressing out there. These are the 6 firms that have provided proposals. We sent our qualifications for about 12 firms. We have 6 firms that provided actual detailed proposals that are being reviewed by the staff for their expertise in management of a program of this size, which could be $200 to $300 million in scope when you consider the life cycle cost of the project. They We're looking to bring on a firm that can not only have the engineering expertise to design the project, do preliminary design, but also be able to manage and provide that program management throughout that 5 to 7 year program. Dealing with acquiring the current final design engineering firms, dealing with the agencies on the permits, the environmental, particularly in developing what the environmental issues are and what the solutions to those are. So those
Robert, now those companies, that particular contract, when we pick one of these companies, that's about a $50 million contract to these individual groups, is that correct? That portion of the design, initial engineering.
The phase 1 work, it's certainly unknown at this point, but we've said around 500,000. We've always said it's going to be $1 million. I think it'd be, I think the phase 1 work here will be in $1 million, or it'd be certainly more than $500,000, $1 million, $2 million, somewhere in the range. Now, the engineering work, the total contract, this is phase 1, and phase 1 doesn't carry the management all the way through 7 years. So yes, I think you're right, the total engineering work is going to be, could well be up in $20–50 million just for the engineering, yes.
Out of these 6 companies, if you know off the top of your head, I'm sure we'll see that the commission is going to make the decision on which of these firms to use eventually, right?
That's correct.
It's not going to be picked by staff, we're going to decide that.
That's correct. We will.
Okay, those 6 companies, which of those have Oklahoma connections or Oklahoma ties? Are any of those completely out-of-state firms?
Okay.
Do you know?
We'll bring that to you real soon. I don't know if you.
All the firms have ties in Oklahoma with their team members or in the firm. All of them have offices in the state of Oklahoma as well, also Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Some of them have offices, have their corporate office outside the state, but they're all tied in the city, in Oklahoma, through their teams, they're made up, and through, they have offices in the state.
Are the engineering numbers considered in the $200 to $300 million overall figure?
Yes. Yes, they are.
It's not on top of the 300.
No, they were included they're included in, yes, sir, that's right. No, they're in that projection. That projection is a life cycle cost, so we hope to anticipate that the actual construction will be somewhat within those.
I didn't hear you say that just the design engineering portion of this is going to take 7 years. The timetable I have shows us getting water in Carl Lake by 2021. That whole project
It's 70, yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, no, the phase 1 work that we developed is probably a 1-year contract.
All right.
In a 1-year contract, we developed a preliminary plan, built a concept, and it's actually addressing environmental issues, won't even solve the environmental issues, all the environmental solutions, but we will define them and prepare us a plan of action to solve those. And it's basically how to best develop a system to limit our mitigation and limit our impact. All right, I just want to get to our goal. It's a goal we've set out, which is basically, water is life, is quality of life. It's really based around water.